Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Lefty. Hey, Lefty, what you say?
What's going on? Welcome back to the Lucky Lefty podcast. And this is our initial cutting floor. That's right. This is the cutting floor with Lucky Lefty himself. We go inside the film room and talk about game changers, future game changers that could be in the Notre Dame program at each and every position. We're going to start with 4 quarterbacks today. And as always, Lucky Lefty podcast is presented and sponsored by Honor.
We're here, baby. That 21% raw bourbon. Go get you some of that Lucky Lefty bourbon at honorwhiskey.com. And on top of that, listen, this is that second communion. You come and get your first communion at church, your second communion, hop on that podcast and get it in with us, man. Get it in with us.
Probably goes nice with a real nicely hand-rolled Cuban.
Hey, we got cigars coming soon, but check me out. I'm gonna get you right, Shaun. You're gonna have some on your own, so you can experience it and let us know what you think.
I'll say that for the vacay when I go sit down on the deck right off of the ocean somewhere down in Florida. Because up here in Chicago, it's like 30 degrees right now. So
that's 9 months out of the year, man.
Man, who are you telling? So let's get into the cutting floor. The first prospect, someone that is really close to you. You've heard a lot about him. I think you've seen him play a few times, and he's out of California. Nico Iamaleava, and this kid, man, you watch his tape, it is absolutely amazing. Tall, rangy, can move well, has a cannon for an arm.
What I like about him so much and why he's a difference maker is that, one, he's 6'6", but the good thing about him being 6'6" is that he's not afraid to let that thing fly. He's gonna try to make plays down the field. He's not afraid to take a hit. And him being 6'6" and being able to move like he can, it's like almost the Kevin Durant of college football that we can have as a difference maker. It's something that looks different on our QB roster. We don't have a guy that's 6'6", about 185, but he also has a cannon. It's something that teams would be threatened by. Something that also Coach Kelly can take a look at it and be like, okay, he can do a lot of different things. Maybe not run him as much, but we can move the pocket with him. He can get the ball out of his hands real quick. And the other thing I like about him is touch. A lot of times in high school tape, you don't see too much touch, but you can see a variance of throwing a 1 level, a 2 level, and even got a 3 level. And that's what you want to be able to have if you want to play at the next level at a Power 5 school. Throwing hole shots like that, that's not easy to do, but to be able to put enough touch on it to where you can make it a catchable football, that's what you want at that Power 5 school level. So I like what we looking at Nico. He's at Warren, so it's not that far from me. Personally, I'm coach at Lakewood High School. We don't want to play him just yet. We got to go recruiting ourselves first. But next year, if we get the right guys, we definitely gonna want to scrimmage him so I can get a first-hand look at him myself.
So once again, that is Nico Iamaleava out of California. Let me tell you something, man. He reminds me so much from build, slightly build, 6'6". That's Trevor Lawrence like. Yeah. That's Trevor Lawrence frame. You see that type of athleticism, that type of touch, that type of arm, as you said, being able to throw on 3 levels. Man, you can't ask for anything more. I view him as a possible game changer if he's able to be locked up. Yeah, if he's able to be locked up. For you, who does he remind you of?
It's different because he's 6'6". So when you get in a guy like that, it's not a trend to have taller quarterbacks like that at the next level of NFL, but the game is changing. You see guys that are similar kind of with Trevor Lawrence that can move and are tough on the run game. I think he has such an advantage with having touch as a tall passer. He's got a quick enough release to where he can use his size may be tall, but he can get it out as if he's a smaller quarterback. So for what he reminds me of, I think of like a Josh Allen in a sense. Maybe not, he doesn't have the build on him. He'll get that in college. He'll get some meat on his bones in college. But from a rangy athleticism to being able to throw the ball all types of levels and make all the throws and be able to move like he can at that height. I give him some Josh Allen comparisons for sure.
All right, let's go to the next kid out of the Breadland Midwest basketball country, Avery Johnson from Kansas, dual threat quarterback, 6'3", 180 pounds. I like the touch. You talk about touch. When you see these high school kids being able to drop the ball in the bucket, especially on the move, it's pretty impressive.
I like this kid a lot just because, he's got a little swagger to him when he's playing. The only problem I have is that this looks more of like a fit in a style that you would want to go with. So as at Notre Dame, this looks more of like a style of what Tyler Buckner would fit into. We're taking shots down the field, and if it's not down the field, we're gonna let him play some backyard scramble ball, and he's accurate on the run. So that gives us a good dynamic of what recruiting of what we want it to look like down the road when we're recruiting guys like this in RPO, a guy that can play in space, make guys miss. Those are some of the things that you would want to see that a lot of teams are using in college football, and maybe that's a trend we want to head down. Tyler Buckner is a good start to maybe that's the trend. But if that's where we're going, then guys that we got coming down the pipeline like Steve Angeli, I don't know if that's the same style that fits together.
So we go to the state of Tennessee for our next prospect, Jackson Arnold. This kid, far more polished than the young man we just talked about out of Kansas, but look at him move up into the pocket. I like that, knowing how to maneuver in the pocket, not running out too fast. Nice throw in the red zone for the touchdown. And once again, these youngsters, man, having this touch, especially on the deep passes. That's impressive.
This is a kid that I like a lot because, this is somebody that is more like a Jack Cohen style. Is a kid that can develop in the system for 3 or 4 years, push the guy that they probably want to start with more talent. But if a kid ever had to get in, he'll be able to be functional and productive. And it's a good guy to have on your roster that can probably help develop the room as a whole. He's got a lot of efficiencies to his game, a lot of talent, whereas he knows what he's doing, and that's somebody that can grow a room and develop a quarterback relationship to where there's a good rapport between him and everybody else. So he fits into that Drew Pine kind of fit for a team like what we have, to where if he ever had to get a chance to go in a game, he can be productive. Is he a championship quarterback? With the right pieces, maybe, with things that we do at Notre Dame, but is he a game changer? I think we got some guys on the roster that can do just as well as what he's doing now.
I want to talk about this particular throw right here. Roll out. Talk about how tough this is.
Man, when you talk about trusting your receivers, it's a kid that has a lot of trust in what his arm talent as well as where he can put that football. Sometimes the best throw beats the best defense, and he's a guy that believes in his arm well enough to do that. We watch as quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers all the time on these highlights and these YouTubes, trying things that probably wouldn't be suggested by your coach. But when you out there practicing enough and you getting in the rhythm and you start dropping passes like this and he can heat up, it shows that he can probably be a good volume thrower. Like throughout the game, he gets better and better the more he's throwing, which could be good for us in late game situations and potentially win some clutch games for us if he comes here.
And as you can see right there towards the end of his film, a little bit more athletic than he might look because he likes to stay in the pocket and maneuver within the pocket and keep his eyes up downfield. Just the all-around solid quarterback prospect.
Just a solid guy. Guy.
Jackson Arnold. And next up, the Holy Grail. This is the Holy Grail, in my opinion. After this, I'm going to have you rank all of these guys from 1 to 4. But Dante Moore out of Michigan.
Dante Moore, man, a guy that's going to play fast, a guy that can add the dynamic ability that you want in the offense to make all 11 guys dangerous, all the skill guys dangerous, because he adds a level of uncertainty in his game where he's going to give you what you coach for and what you ask for and what you practice for every week. But it's going to come a time in a game where it's not exactly what you want, and he's going to make it right. And these are the difference makers that we should be looking for in our recruiting at that position, because he can do all the things that you put on the chalkboard, but then there's things he can do that you can't put on the chalkboard, and that's what's going to get us over the edge. He's got the timing. He plays with the right speed. He looks like he's playing at a high speed, so the transition to going to college won't be such a shock to him because he's playing fast in the pocket, which means that he can probably react a little faster if things break down. And that's something that a lot of young quarterbacks that come out of these 7-on-7 programs and come out of these passing offenses where you don't get a rush, you get real lazy in the shotgun a lot. So yeah, when you get to college and things start moving around in the front seven, it throws you off. But when you're playing with a speed like Dante is, even against the level of competition, it's going to translate well for him to be able to be that it factor and maybe the dynamic piece we're needing to get us over the edge at Notre Dame.
One of the things I would like to talk about, you don't see a lot of young quarterbacks that know how to pitch. And what I mean by that, not from a baseball analogy, but in baseball, they say the best way to get people out is to be able to change speeds. And I see this kid and I see him throw the ball hard, and then I'll see him change the speed, and throw it a little bit softer, depending upon the route or depending upon who he's trying to get it to on that certain level. I seen him throw it hard, deep. Then I seen him loft it a little bit more deep with a different trajectory. Just having that type of game in the passing game and knowing how and what to do in certain situations with your arm and with the ball, that's very impressive for a young quarterback.
Yeah, I love the fact that, he's able to put enough zip to fit into the windows that is on the right timing. I mean, he's going to plant his foot and he's going to be strong in the pocket and deliver the football. And that's a lot of what Coach Kelly wants to see in young guys, is guys that can stick his face in there and deliver the ball. A lot of what Jack Cohn is doing, I think that's the difference between him and Tyler, is that Tyler's adjusting and acclimating more to sticking that foot in the pocket and letting it go. Jack's more accustomed to it because that's the best part of his game. So it just works out that way. But to get a kid to come in and do that, it'll probably set forth a lot of wins in the future.
All right, that's the cutting floor. Those are your 4 quarterback prospects that may be in South Bend. Before we go, I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me your wish list out of those 4 prospects.
Man, I like Dante Moore a lot, man. It's hard not to put him as my number 1. I think it just will give the room a different flavor, or go with Nico. I think that's that different flavor, that different mix. Seeing a 6'6" kid that can move around, run around, and throw the ball deep, something that could be an advantage for us, and we'll see what we get. But all the guys they're recruiting right now got the potential. Let's see if we can enact on that potential and make it right.
For Malik Zaire, the original Lucky Lefty, I'm Shaun Davis. This has been The Cutting Floor. We'll have more game changers and prospects coming up for you throughout the season. Go to Lucky Lefty Podcast channel on YouTube. Subscribe right now. Like, share, let everybody know we spin it different over here at the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Until next time, peace out.
Peace out.
You're listening to the Lucky Lefty Podcast with Malik Zaire.
Never will there ever be another like me. You can play the left, cause it ain't no right in me.
And Shaun Davis.